Welcome back to the channel, Struggle Streaming with BK. In today's video, we doing something special and something different today, y'all. Today's video is a project. It's an interdisciplinary project for my geology class. And we've had like 23, 24 chapters we've done in this class. And for our project, we have to choose 5 or 6 things. Well, technically 5, at least 5 things we've done throughout the year and give a presentation on it. I decided I would combine a couple things I love. Love doing my reviews, and people who follow the channel know I love fragrances. So I'm going to try to combine geology, fragrances, and a review all into one. This is the first time it's ever been done in mankind history. Probably not, but and that review is coming up after the intro, y'all. You know what? I ain't even got that much time. We ain't even doing no intro because this video got to be 5 minutes, around 5 minutes, and y'all know I talk a lot, so I'm probably gonna go over. So I'm gonna go over each subject and probably talk about each one for 45 seconds or so, and tell what a particular fragrance correlates to a particular subject. Let's start it off. First up, we're going to talk about glaciation. And that was, I believe, chapter 22. For those who don't know, I'm sure everybody do. But glaciers are huge pieces of ice that move along, huge ice masses that move along. They are melting right now because of climate change and global warming because of us. And a lot of stuff is going to flood in several decades, but that's a video and another subject for another time. The fragrance I chose to represent glaciers is Gulf Orchids Mango Ice. This fragrance right here, the reason I chose this one is I ain't got too many fragrances with the word ice in it. And ice, glacier, it kind of goes together. And plus it gives me an opportunity to spray it because I love this fragrance right here. The notes in this, of course, mango. It got some pink pepper, some patchouli, and a little bit of musk in it. I ain't gonna go too deep into the fragrances because I got to keep this video within 5 minutes. So for glaciers, I chose mango ice. At this point in the presentation, for my classmates, I'm gonna probably be passing around fragrances in the class so you guys can smell them as I talk about them, right? I'm gonna provide strips and all so you can spray a little, smell a little, and I hope you enjoy the experience like I do. But next up, we had chapter 5, and chapter 5 was the March of Seasons. And in chapter 5, we learned about the different seasons on the planet. Some places on the planet only get 2 seasons. They get wet season and dry season. Other places get 4 seasons. And like us here in the United States, well, Michigan, where I am, we get 4. We get summer, fall, winter, and spring. So the 4 things that determine or are the cause of the seasons for us are the rotation, the polarity, the revolution, and the inclination. Okay. The rotation, everyone should know, is the Earth's rotation in a day. It takes 24 hours for the Earth to rotate one time, and that's why we get night and day on the planet. Next up is the revolution. The revolution of the Earth is how long it takes the Earth to go around the sun. Right, that takes 365.25 days if you want to be exact. Next up, we got the inclination. The inclination of the Earth is the tilt of the Earth's axis. The Earth tilts at a 23.5 degree angle And last, we have the polarity. The polarity is basically the North Pole. The Earth points directly at the sun in June, and it points least towards the sun in December. So, what I decided to do to represent the four seasons is pick a fragrance that will represent a season. I'm gonna start off with spring, and for spring, I chose Bond Number Nine's New York Flowers. And the reason I chose New York Flowers is flowers. Nothing says spring to me personally like flowers. And it's an awesome awesome bottle that has pretty roses on it. And it smells good. So I chose this one. I'm sure the ladies in the class might get a kick out of this one and like it. Next up, for summer, I chose Bond Number Nine's The Centerpiece Natural. This is one of my favorite fragrances to wear in the summer. People who follow the channel know I call it the Lemon Scented Panty Dropper. I love this fragrance right here. I'm not going to go too much into notes with this because I got to get it going. But, of course, lemon is the main note in this. This is an awesome fragrance for the summer, fellas. Like, all right. To represent fall, I brought out Bond Number Nine's New York Nights. New York Nights is a nightclub fragrance. It's a unisex fragrance. It has the coffee in there, the caramel, things like that. And it's a great fall fragrance, right? The longevity of this thing is like 11, 12 hours. It's an awesome fragrance to have to represent the fall. And for winter, I brought out Lattafa's Camera. This is one of my favorite fragrances to wear in cold weather. Has a cognac note in here that I love. Sophisticated and longevity, 10, 12 hours, and it's got some kick. Y'all gonna like the smell of this one, class. All right, so that's what we got for the March of Seasons, these four fragrances. Next up, Plate Teutonics. That was chapter 16. The Teutonic plates are these huge plates that are located in the lithosphere, which is a part of Earth's crust, the upper mantle. And they shake back and forth. Well, they do three things: convergent, divergent, and transform. When they converge, that's when they run into each other, and that's when you get like earthquakes and things like that. Divergent, when they diverge, they separate, so they going apart. Okay, and then you have when they transform boundaries, they slide by each other. So those are the three things that the Teutonic plates do. Teutonic plates are located in the lithosphere, and y'all know I'm into Greek mythology. The Greek word for lithos is stone. So the fragrance I chose to represent Teutonic plates is Armos Milestone. All right, mainly because it's stone, like no other reason for that. I talked about the earthquakes, and the earthquakes lead to something else. It leads us to chapter 17. In chapter 17, we went over volcanoes, and volcanoes erupt. Y'all know it has lava, molten, and things like that from it, from the earthquakes. Earthquakes can cause volcanic eruptions. So chapter 17, to represent that, I picked Liquid Brun. Okay, Liquid Brun is one of my favorite fragrances to own. It's top 10 all time for me. And I picked this bottle and the smell because to me, it reminds me of lava. It always has reminded me of lava. I don't know if it's the bottle or the fact that this smell is fire. So I love liquid bronze. And that ends chapter 17. Moving right along, we are now going into chapter 11. Chapter 11 was about contour lines. Contour lines depict elevation on a map. Before I go, I want to say, Professor Z, I know this is supposed to be around 5-6 minutes. I'm going to try to edit it down as much as I can, but I ain't making that time limit. Hopefully that don't kill me. But anyway, chapter 11 is about contour lines. And contour lines depict elevation on a map. This was the funnest segment or chapter that we did for me personally this year. And that is because I haven't had to read a map or do anything map reading or measuring in 25 years since I was like in the service, like over 20 years. And it was cool to actually read a map again, like to look at a map, even though it was so frustrating trying to look at them little bitty, itty bitty lines, count them all together, Professor Z. But anyway, contour lines depict elevation on a map. And the fragrance that I chose to represent that for me, and this one is kind of a stretch, but it's personal, is Bond number 9's Dubai Diamond. Dubai Diamond. All right. I know you probably like, why you pick a diamond? Why you pick a diamond? Okay. Because contour lines depict elevation, this bottle of cologne has a personal affinity to me, or whatever you want to say. This is $1,000 bottle of cologne. Cost me $1,000, $1,060 to be exact, to get this. So this is the most expensive fragrance I had, and I wanted it for a long time. But hey, I couldn't afford it. So the better I did in life, the more I elevated in life, it allowed me to get this. And the elevation of lines in the mountains, the higher you get in a mountain, the higher you get in life. So that's why this bottle is in here. So chapter 11, contour lines. What's in this? Rose, saffron, patchouli, some lily in here. People who follow the channel, I did a review on this, but this one is New York Oud, a more richer, more elegant version of New York Oud. And people who know me know that New York Oud is the GOAT of all fragrances. So Dubai Diamond is, what we on? It's like the 7th fragrance, I think. But anyway, all right. Moving on to the next one. Last but not least, we have come to chapter 21. And in chapter 21, we learned about the fluvial process. The fluvial process is basically large bodies of water and the way they flow, meaning mostly rivers and streams, and how they have shaped Earth's surface. The fluvial process is probably the single most dominant reason why human beings run this planet today. Because for thousands of years, we have used streams and rivers we have followed them, and it's allowed us to build, live, and survive. Y'all know we need water, right? The reason I chose the fluvial process in this project is for one reason and one reason only. And Professor Z broke my heart with this, because waterfalls. Waterfalls is the reason I chose this, because I always thought on my bucket list was to jump in a waterfall. Like, jump. It always looked cool in movies. I always thought that I would get the guts one day and I'll jump down a waterfall somewhere, maybe in Jamaica or something. But Professor Z told me never jump in a waterfall because it could kill you. So that's why I chose the fluvial process. But the fragrance that I chose to represent that is Bond number 9's Beekman Place. This is one of my newer fragrances. Well, not really. I probably done bought 20 after this, but I bought this year. Beekman Place is another pineapple fragrance from Bond number 9. I love it. But the reason I chose it to correlate with the fluvio process is it has driftwood in it. Okay. And not a lot of fragrances have driftwood. Well, not a lot of fragrances that I know. And this is the only Bond Number 9 fragrance with driftwood in it. And driftwood is key to waterfalls because driftwood, it builds up at the end of waterfalls. And I guess that's one of the things when you jump off the waterfall, you hit to kill you. So now I can't jump in the waterfall. But Bond Number 9, Beekman, Beekman Place is the fragrance that I use to correlate to the fluvio process. And that pretty much is the end of my presentation. I'm going to try to edit this thing down. Like, this part probably ain't in the video, but I'm trying to edit this thing down to 5, 6, 7 minutes. Probably ain't going to happen. But I hope y'all enjoyed it, class. I hope y'all enjoyed this class this year. And I hope y'all enjoyed the fragrances that y'all smelling. Go out and buy some. All right, especially y'all fellas. It's always a good thing to smell good. But anyway, that's all I got for y'all today. Struggle Street with BK. Doing a little geology, and I'm out. All right.